Welcome into the crypto bunker. Um, what do you guys think about the SEC investigating whether Binance's BNB token should have been registered as a security in its initial coin offering in 2017? So tomorrow we have a bill from Cynthia Loomis going through legislation that could possibly classify a lot of these cryptos as securities. That doesn't mean that it will pass. I'm sure that they will put it out there and then try to get some clarity from the community. But it does seem like they want to classify a lot of things as securities. And now we have one of the biggest cryptos out there, Binance BNB coin, which I always, again, never really promoted this one. Just didn't understand it. Never really wanted to promote it. It just kind of felt scammy to me because I don't know, it's an exchange token. It's kind of centralized. Didn't really fit the principles of what a blockchain is supposed to be, which is decentralized. But some of these coins now are crashing hard. And we have to think that this is because we're thinking maybe a lot of these will be classified as securities. They're examining whether Binance's initial coin offering of its Binance coin token in 2017 was an unregistered security offering that should have been registered with the regulatory agency. Without commenting on the details, a spokesperson for Binance said, as the industry has grown at a rapid pace, we have been working very diligently to educate and assist law enforcement and regulators in the US and internationally while also adhering to new guidelines. We will continue to meet all requirements set by regulators. Let's just take a look at the charts real quick. I did just want to point out Polkadot, which was also sort of created in 2017. Does look like it's going to drop, and we're going to get that price of 547 that I have talked about. And the craziest thing is that, when they say like peak fear is when you want to buy, well, we could get that and no one's going to want to buy. Because what if they try to classify these as securities or say that they're going to, and then we drop, and that's the time that you have to buy. I mean, that would be pretty wild. But we are at the lows again for ETH, and we're going down here. I mean, there's no way, in my opinion, not financial advice, but we obviously wicked low here. We caught a support. We got rejected off the 20-day. We got rejected off the 20-day again. We pretty much gotten rejected off the 20-day all the way down here. And then, it continues to get picked up when we go farther away from it. But at this point, we have all the crosses in place. And if you look at it, on an inverted scale, let's see if we can actually do that, because I do think that is relevant. I mean, this to me looks, very bullish if you're looking at it upside down. We can look at it on the weekly, maybe upside down as well. And I mean, we're looking at basically breaking free here of these lows. It's funny how like all these lows have come in. It's like there's so much support at these levels. But yeah, once we break that, we're going to, in my opinion, this 200 week SMA, which is around 1200. And theoretically, this is where I would want to have, I'm going to invert it back, but go back from gold to ETH, actually. And to me, this does look like we're going to get to the 1.84 level, which would put us at probably about 1100 ETH and 1900 gold. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do. It's interesting though that Bitcoin is down as well on this news. So you have to think that, we did put in a massive, massive hourly candle there. And now we're revisiting these lows again, and that looks just terrible, guys. Again, there has been a lot of support here at these levels, and people are just buying it nonstop at these levels. But I do think if we close, I do think if we lose this level where we're at right now, we're looking at, going lower here. We can look at this on the monthly, which has the 200 monthly SMA, which is like 22K. That's kind of what I'm thinking for now. I've been saying that, and it's tough to stay bearish sometimes, but it really hasn't been that tough in this bear to kind of just realize like, hey, you kind of have to give it up here. The bulls, they're very loud, and they continue to yell on Twitter about how bullish they are, and there is things that come across that seem bullish, and it's hard to kind of keep track. We can also look at the total crypto market cap, which again is kind of mainly, I think this is the total cap. So again, if we look at this, let's see on the weekly, we can see that again, we're definitely, I think, going to that 200, but I think we're going to go lower. Actually, I think we're going to go probably get cut in half from here, on the entire crypto market cap, which is crazy to say, obviously, which means alts would have to be destroyed, which I do think is going to happen, especially with the securities thing coming in. It'll be really interesting to see how people trade this, because it will be peak fear. And I mean, it's just going to be very interesting. That's all I can say. But what I said to Cynthia Loomis, got some likes here. There's no way at this point that ETH is a security. It will show very unfair and embarrassing bias to classify it that way to start. And when I'm saying to start, I'm saying my first point, basically. If you want to say it was a security in 2015, I get it, but it's sufficiently decentralized now and is used as a commodity and currency. So what people have to realize that with Ethereum being a security or not is the fact that it's used as a currency. So it's used to buy art. Even in auctions in New York City at Christie's or at these different auction houses, they even accept ETH now. So it's being used in the real world. It's being used in the digital world as a currency. It's also being used as a commodity because it acts as oil for the Ethereum ecosystem and all of the Ethereum apps that are run on Ethereum. So it kind of acts as that oil that basically you need to pay gas fees. So that kind of makes it a commodity in that way, that you need it to actually run the network. It's sort of, again, like filling up your car with oil, because you need it to run, which again, you need the ETH to run these D apps. And the other thing is it's sufficiently decentralized. So over time, the ETH itself as a currency, as a crypto, has been sufficiently distributed out to many different wallets and many different participants in the Ethereum ecosystem. And even the original coins that were given up to people who, maybe were early in on the ICO, which again, people criticize, but it is the most decentralized ICO I mean, maybe not ever, but it's definitely one of the most decentralized ICOs. Avalanche and Solana, for example, they gave a massive amount to venture capital investors at the beginning, as well as the founders and things like that. But Ethereum, it really sort of reined that in, and it was really only like 5 to 10% that went to VCs and founders and things like that. But there are many coins out there that are going to have some issues here, and that's probably, I mean, if they go after BNB, I can see, because it's like a centralized organization that like runs like as a company in the US, or a company in the world, I guess. As well, they do have the Binance US. But again, I think that it is interesting to see what will happen here, because I just think Ethereum, again, there's so many nodes that run the network. There's more wallets than I think Bitcoin. I think it's more decentralized in terms of like people holding a small amount, potentially even more than Bitcoin. Also, I think it has less like concentrated wealth. Like Bitcoin, I think, the top 1% own like 90% of the coins or something. I don't think it's necessarily that bad for Ethereum, because again, a lot of these like early whales, they've spent their ETH on NFTs, or they've sold their ETH, or, and then they sell their ETH, and then some other participant comes and buys it. And that just continues to decentralize the network. And ETH just exchanges hands so much, right? Exchanges hands from the miners, and the miners sell, like the ETH miners constantly sell. So there's so many factors that go into the fact that it's decentralized. I sufficiently and utterly believe that there is no way that over the long term that they can get away with this. But I did, we did see that Cynthia Loomis, you can look up like certain things that she's done recently on YouTube, and like obviously she's basically, the people that helped her out with this are like Bitcoin maximalists who helped her out with this bill, which is unfortunate because Michael Saylor obviously is biased. They're all biased towards their Bitcoin bags. But if they're able to classify Bitcoin as a commodity or a currency or whatever they want to classify it as, and then July 7th is the next ETF approval or disapproval for the, I think, Grayscale ETF. So if they are able to pass this through and Bitcoin, takes the lead, basically, it's really going to be unfortunate, but it will be good for Bitcoin holders, potentially, because if they're able to pass this bill before that, then the SEC might be able to approve the ETF, which they've been getting hated for. And then they're going to come after all these other cryptos and coins. So that would really suck for innovation, for Web3, for the potential of many things that come along with Web3. So I would be really, really disappointed. And, I just think it would be really sad to see this happen. I think crypto, can save the Fed and the government from catastrophic, situations that we're heading into in the world. And so I really hope that they don't just eliminate, I just hope they don't do this. I hope they don't eliminate some of these coins. I mean, you can use them for so many things: job creation, automation, universal basic income can be used through tokenization, clean energy, like Energy Web Token, where the energy companies have to stake their Energy Web Token, and then they can be slashed if they don't follow the rules, things like that. Equity through tokens, like, some of these companies are going to have to use Web3 to continue to boost their valuations. There's no way we're going past like $2 trillion for Apple, of market cap, unless they integrate some kind of Web3 with it. So we're going to, that will really boost the stock market, potentially boost the economy, because people will be getting paid to buy these things. Like, they're going to get paid Starbucks tokens to buy Starbucks. So they're going to keep going, and the token's going to trade and it's going to go up and down just like a stock would. This is the thing. This is what we really want to push towards. And the younger generation, they want this. They want this thing, you know? Um, and it's been shown through history, and it's clear that an unchangeable property right for citizens, when they own a piece of property, they are more likely to contribute further to that economy, which is what Web3 is. There's Web3 gaming and trading. Um, you know, there's, where you can tokenize assets in a game and things like that. There's tokenization of people, which where like students wouldn't have to pay for college because people buy their, stock basically, or token. There's tokenization of athletes where fans can make decisions for athletes. There's tokenization of sports teams, where they can make decisions on things like the jersey, the pregame warm-up song, different things that they would choose. There's all of this innovation that's happening, that's going to drive jobs for the future. Tokenization of clean energy assets like Energy Web Token, like I said. Even NFTs, creating new business models around art, books, film, music, gaming, tokenization of housing, tokenization of carbon credits, tokenization of equipment for businesses. There's just so much you can do with this. And God forbid that these people go and ruin it. I do think that even if they did ruin it, it would just go underground, and we would still have an economy because they can't stop the internet. You would just move to a different country. People would use VPNs, to use DeFi to get peer-to-peer lending. Stablecoin lending would probably go up because it would be considered riskier. Again, these are all things that it's not my base case, okay, that this happens. But I'm worried that the news could crash some of these coins. Which maybe that's good if you're thinking, for me at least, that I want to, buy the dip, especially on ETH. And just to show you guys a little something that I kind of found in the charts here, I do think that this is sort of a similar pattern to what we saw. We saw a big peak, a drop, and then a rally, big peak, drop, a rally. Saw a rally here. And we saw after basically a couple sideways weeks on this line, we saw a drop. This is kind of an interesting spot to think like, okay, do we catch support here? Probably around this old all-time high at 1430. Or are we going to make it all the way down to, again, the 20? It depends, or the 200. It depends, but I do think this is a similar spot where we kind of went sideways after a drop. You never want to go sideways. This is on the daily, but you never really want to go flat or sideways on after you drop this much. It's not a great look. And so easily down, I think 14 at this point. But again, there is a lot of support because people know how bullish ETH is. They know how bullish crypto is. And as long as these people don't screw it up, this is like the next massive opportunity. I mean, ETH could easily be 100,000 a coin, in my opinion. Which not a lot of people are willing to make that prediction at this point, but I am, because I know how, again, I named all of the things just then that are all going to be on Ethereum. And, think every market will be on Ethereum, real estate, everything will be tokenized. That's kind of the utopia scenario that even the World Economic Forum, they may, come in and people are all doom and gloom about crypto and say the government's not going to let it. What if they come in and completely shift that and say, hey, we want you guys to develop as much as you possibly can. We want, because we want the adoption of blockchain. We want to track everything you do. We want to tokenize people. Once again, this is just something that the World Economic Forum could come in and actually make this like a quasi sort of Trojan horse, if you will, of like, hey, create as much as you can, utopia, tokenize everything, sort of world. And then everyone signs up to, get a chip in their arm to track everything they do or whatever, so there, that's a dystopian vision, but it's also like utopia for some people, to kind of track your health, to track your, you know, things like that, to optimize your health. And then like, that's how we live longer. So there's all these things that they could come in and say, like, to actually, boost morale instead of just telling us to like eat bugs and stuff like they do now. But anyway, that's getting off topic. So again, there is all those reasons that I do think that Ethereum will be successful in the future, as well as Web3 in general. So again, hopefully you guys got something out of the video. Let's keep watching tomorrow just to see what this is going to look like from Cynthia Loomis. And yeah, besides that, everyone, stay safe and have a great night.